Another mass shooting this morning at a private school left 3 young children and 3 adults dead. A gun reform activist is calling for action.
Activists stormed the local offices of one of the largest corporate landlords in the country. Find out why, up next.
Behind me, a local student rose awareness about homelessness. I have that story coming up next.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Tonight we're learning how a heavily armed woman entered a private elementary school and killed 6 people. Hi, I'm John Walker.
And I'm Irene Kim. 3 9-year-old children and 3 adults died in today's shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. The shooter is a former student at the Covenant School. She was armed with 2 assault weapons and a pistol. She shot her way through a locked school door and then opened fire. Police responded quickly, killing the shooter. This is now the 19th school shooting that wounded at least 1 person this year. We spoke with an organization for gun reforms about calls for stricter regulations.
We are fully in support of an assault weapons ban, so the same legislation that the president is calling for, because we don't really believe people should have access to weapons of war, which are essentially what assault weapons are. I don't think that there's necessarily one particular piece of legislation that could solve everything, obviously.
At least 2 of the weapons involved in the shooting were purchased legally, according to the Nashville police chief. Police also said that there were no officers assigned to the school at the time because of the shooting. It is a church-run school.
Community activists took the fight for affordable housing to one of the country's biggest landlord groups. The Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment took over the lobby of the Blackstone Group. Former renters spoke out against the group's practices and demanded legislation for tenants' rights. One of the biggest demands was the passage of California Senate Bill 567. The bill would cap rent increases at 5%, protect against evictions due to renovations, and protect market values of housing units. Even with the new proposals, residents are feeling anxious over LA's rental market.
I think that Blackstone has the most eviction power because they're the largest corporate landlord. And not to say that there aren't other big offenders, there are, but this is the root of that tree.
We continue to let companies, corporate like Blackstone, buy houses up and bond us like they're doing. We will have no more affordable housing. And we don't do anything about preserving affordable housing, building more affordable housing. That's what we're going to be, a third world country.
A spokesperson for Blackstone said the report and statements are ridiculed with inaccuracies and mischaracterizations. We believe we have the most favorable resident policies among any large landlord in the U.S., including not making a single non-payment eviction for over 2 years during COVID. LA County is set to lift its COVID eviction protections at the end of the month. Renters will be given 30 days to pay their outstanding balances. The nonprofit Hope the Mission said socks are one of the most needed items for people who are unhoused. Reporter Marissa Rio is at Pepsi Plaza in Exposition Park, where a local middle school student donated about 250,000 pairs to help. Marissa, tell us about what's going on out there.
That's right, John. Sydney Vansleeve is just shy of collecting 250,000 socks. That's enough to help Hope the Mission's clients for a full year. I'm out here now, and behind me is where all the socks are displayed. Sydney was here earlier, and she showed us something else she's been working on. Sydney's sock project is set to break the Guinness World Record for most socks used to write a sentence. The socks will be donated, and she hopes her project will inspire others. We spoke to her earlier about what the meaning behind the sentence is.
Socks are one of the most important, basic hygiene tools. I feel some people might take them for granted, while other people really just need socks. The sentence spells out from cold, sad feet to warm, happy feet. Hashtag Hope wins at Hope of the Valley.
Sydney's dad shared with us that he remembers when she got the idea to raise all these socks. She told him, "Dad, I know we can't buy a bed or a house for everyone, but why can't we give them socks?" And now she's doing just that. For Annenberg Media, I'm Marissa Rio.
Thanks, Marissa. I sure hope she breaks that record. A new law passed in Utah will limit the use of social media for people under the age of 18. The Social Media Regulation Act goes in effect in March 20th through the 24th. The new law will restrict children from using social media between 10:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. It will also require age verification for all users and allow parents to access their children's social media if they are under 18. We spoke to students about the new law.
My first initial reaction is that it's going to be hard to enforce because as a young individual myself, I know that it is really difficult to control them, even with such like a breach on privacy and so many restrictions in place. I feel like they will definitely find a way.
Yeah, it's good to have it restricted in some forms, but also just policing that so strongly and having like no access to it also in a way does make me think that they're restricting like the free speech right of young people.
Protecting teens' mental health was the main reason that the new Utah law was passed. Mehek joins us with more on the relationship between social media and wellness.
Thanks, Irene. If you're anything like me, hearing about this law in Utah may be making you nervous. Word on the street is that USC students feel like social media has a strong impact on their wellness.
A lot of self-esteem issues, looking at like Instagram models.
Feeling a little bit left out if a lot of my friends are like going out or like taking pictures of places they've traveled to or hangouts that they've gone on that like I haven't been able to go to.
But nowadays I try to, control my intake of it and just use it to like see what friends are doing.
I agree. Social media can negatively impact our wellness. It's just something to keep in mind while we're consuming content to stay connected. I'll pass it off to the studio. Till then, stay well on social media worldwide.
USC Annenberg awarded $50,000 to a Reuters reporting team for the project Nightmare in Nigeria. The Selden Ring Award-winning project exposed the Nigerian Army's secret abortion program, which led to the termination of thousands of pregnancies of women raped by Boko Haram militants. Reuters' 4-part investigative series includes testimonies from over 40 witnesses to the Nigerian attacks. Editor Julie Marquis and USC Annenberg professor Mark Scoofs sat down with Annenberg Media to talk about the investigation and the award selection process.
What sets this award apart from other journalistic awards is also that it rewards investigative reporting that made a difference, that changed things. This year's winner is an absolutely searing investigation.
We wanted everyone to know what was going on in Nigeria, and we didn't pull any punches. What we were most concerned about was the safety of our sources, and so we were extremely discriminating on what we included.
The $50,000 award is the largest journalism cash prize in America. This is the first Sheldon Ring win for Reuters since the award's creation in 1989.
Now joining us tonight is former state senator and USC alum Martha Escuta. She was born and raised in East LA and was the first woman to chair both the State Assembly and Senate Judiciary Committee. Thank you for being here, Martha. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Irene.
Yes, so nice to see you. You had this conversation today early at USC, the Women's in Politics conversation, where you faced a lot of pushback during your 14 years of state senate. I would love for you to just elaborate a little bit more on the obstacles that you faced as one of the first female senators.
Well, everything from even raising money, trying to find, circles of money is very hard for women. It's a bit easier for men. So just raising the money to just get elected was very difficult. Once elected, I was one of the few women in the state legislature at that time. And it was kind of hard dealing with the guys, they tend to run over everyone, especially the people who have been there for a while. But I don't think they had ever met a class. And I went into state politics with the Year of the Woman when Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein went to Congress. I went to Sacramento, and it was a different type of woman in the sense that we were prepared and we were not going to, be told what to do unless we agreed. And we were definitely quite capable of pushing back.
Exactly. And I remember during that conversation when you were talking to Fran, it was so interesting to see how much that you have seen this industry in particular just grow throughout the years. And now, as you are a guest lecturer at USC, what is one piece of advice you would give to all these female Trojans who are also passionate about politics?
Absolutely get involved. There's nothing better than civic engagement. You have a great network with the Trojans. You know, if it weren't for Trojans to help me walk precincts, I never would have won my race. But most importantly, like Senator Fran Pavley indicated, you have to have passion for this. You have to be able to take the good with the bad and realizing that many times the bad, it's worth sacrificing that in order to accomplish a great policy outcome.
I totally agree. I feel like passion is really what fuels our purpose. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time talking with us. Escuda is also a guest lecturer, like I said, at USC, and she hopes that she inspires women to be more involved in politics.
Find out our iHeartRadio favorite TikTok bops in our news entertainment segment after the break.
A series of deadly tornadoes have left a path of destruction in the Deep South. We'll meet a student athlete who was outside when the storm hit.
Oh, and a USC student used his love for music to bridge the gap between his two worlds. Find out more next.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write him a text or knit him a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write him a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
After weeks of rain, Governor Gavin Newsom lifted more than half of his emergency drought orders Friday. Greenhouses across LA have responded to how this has affected their businesses. This is Namu, a greenhouse located in LA's Koreatown that specializes in interior plant designs and deliveries. We talked to Avalon Nurseries in South LA about how they have been affected by recent weather and the easing of drought restrictions.
So with the rainfall, we probably haven't watered much. Maybe I would say like 5 times in a month, when we usually water almost like every day. When the drought thing being taken away, I feel like more customers will come and like splurge on more of those fancy plants that require a little bit more water. The negative side of the rain is that unfortunately we cannot have the business open.
The rain may make plant care easier, but some nurseries have had to close during the storms. While Newsom has lifted some drought restrictions, he still encourages water conservation.
A deadly tornado hit Mississippi this weekend, leaving 26 dead, hundreds displaced, and thousands of residents uncertain about the future of their town. The towns of Rolling Fork and Silver City, Mississippi were devastated by a 70-minute tornado with winds topping 166 miles to 200 miles per hour. That's according to the National Weather Service. We talked to a student at Mississippi Valley State about what happened.
I was actually playing basketball during the tornado watch. I tried to go grocery shopping, but it was too windy outside. So the power went out around here, and luckily, like, the tornado was about a few cities away from us, so it wasn't around the campus. But I did hear about a lot of people that were affected by it, and it's pretty tough. It's sad.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to those in Mississippi. Now, California's winter has extended itself throughout the end of March. Let's take a look at that current forecast. A brisk 71 degrees on this wonderful cloudy day with 21% humidity. Let's bring you into our 5-day forecast. Tuesday, we're going to start off with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. By Wednesday, it's going to time to bundle up because the rest of the week, we're expecting heavy rainfall in the morning and evening times. Now, by Thursday morning, scattered showers will probably add about 15 minutes to your morning commute. And as we end the work week on Friday, we've got sunshine on a cloudy day with highs in the mid-60s, lows in the 40s. And as we move into the weekend, we get a little bit warmer with highs in the 60s, lows in the 50s, accompanied by that beautiful Southern California sun. Now, my voice will never win any singing awards, but we're going to hear from Irene and John about award-winning singers.
Hey Malcolm, you never know, but welcome to Media Minute, a segment where we discuss hot topics in the entertainment industry.
Tonight's hot topic, this year's nominees at the iHeartRadio Music Awards. Are you ready, Irene, to get into these nominees?
I am so ready, John.
Perfect. So the first award is Top Artist. Irene, who do you think will win and who do you want to win this year?
Okay, as a believer by heart, I love Justin Bieber. He should win, Artist of the Year, but I do think Harry Styles and Tweety Swift have it under the bag. What about you?
Definitely. Taylor Swift and Harry Styles have it under the bag, but I cannot leave this segment without shouting out Lizzo and Beyonce. Beyonce especially because of the Grammys. I think there's voters are going to want to see Beyonce take home that prize.
I totally agree. Up next is Top Songs of the Year. John, what are you thinking?
I love Lil Nas X. I'm going for Industry Baby. Okay. I saw his concert this past year.
Okay.
Fantastic, but T Swift again, crouching in here. It's going to go to Anti-Hero, I think, this year.
I feel like Anti-Hero is a pretty good pick. Everyone loves T Swift. I mean, if you're not a Swiftie, we can't be friends at this point. But I will say, Justin Bieber again, you got it. You got to listen to The Ghost. Think it's a good song. Vote for that one.
Now for our last category, Best TikTok Bop of the Year. This is the big, small prize that I think we're all excited for. But Irene, what are you thinking for this year?
I love Lil Uzi, y'all. So I think Just Wanna Rock by him. What about you?
I want to see Bad Habits by my favorite song from last year, but I'm faithful that Unholy will take it home tonight.
Okay, well, we're very faithful for that. So.
Well, that's all for today's Media Minute. Back to the desk with Chaz with our teases for sports.
Coming up on ATVN Sports, we take a look at one of the craziest March Madnesses ever and check out how our brackets are shaping up. We also go through how things are playing out in the women's tournament as games are continuing right now. Finally, we will take a look at some of the most memorable moments of the men's tournament so far.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch!
Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Adam Jasper.
And I'm Will Simons. Adam, what month is it?
Will, this is March.
And what does that mean?
Madness. The Final Four of the NCAA men's basketball tournament is set, and we've seen more upsets than ever this year. The headline of this year's last four is Florida Atlantic. The FAU Owls braved a tough East region and upset 3 teams, earning the program's first ever March Madness wins. Out west, UConn cut through its opponents like a chainsaw through butter. The Huskies are the only program with Final Four experience in this year's field. San Diego State shocked Alabama and won the South region, and Miami tore through 2 Texas teams en route to Houston. Safe to say the scriptwriters were in their bag this year. Now let's head to Chaz at the monitor for his favorite moments from March Madness.
This is easily the craziest March that I have ever witnessed. So here are some of the best moments from the best tournament in American sports. We have to start with the best moment, and it's an easy one. 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson taking down first seed Purdue in the round of 64. This is only the second time ever that a 16 seed has won. Even wilder, Fairleigh Dickinson is the shortest team in Division I with an average height of 6 foot 1.5 inches. Purdue's Zach Edey, the Big Ten Player of the Year, is 7 foot 4. The most exciting game so far has to be Gonzaga against UCLA in the Sweet 16. UCLA jumped out to a 13-point lead at halftime until Gonzaga stormed back with a 10-point lead of their own. With just 7 seconds left, Julian Strother nailed a three-pointer from the logo to send the Bulldogs to the Elite Eight. The best individual performance of the tournament goes to Marquise Noel against Michigan State. The Kansas State point guard diced up the Spartan defense with a single-game tournament record 19 assists. These were only a few of the awesome moments from March Madness, and there's still way more on the way this weekend in Houston. Back to you boys at the desk.
After witnessing all of this chaos in the tournament's first 2 weekends, let's take a look back at our own brackets, which haven't gone particularly well. I was in good shape heading into the Elite Eight with 5 teams still left, but things have gone a bit off the rails in the last couple of days. I failed to guess any of the Final Four teams, even though Kansas State, Creighton, and Texas were all this close to advancing to Houston. My championship pick, Gonzaga, never stood much of a chance against UConn.
Yeah, boys, mine straight up sucked. I got 0 of the Final Four teams correct and only 2 of the Elite Eight teams. So this March definitely got the best of me.
And my picks were a little bit better, I would say. I had UConn in the Final Four, but my favorite pick of mine was taking San Diego State over Alabama in the Sweet 16. Even though my champion Houston was upset in that same round, my bracket still finished in the 99th percentile of all brackets this year.
There's been plenty of excitement in the women's NCAA basketball tournament as well, as the Elite Eight finishes up tonight. On Sunday, 3-seed LSU took down 9-seed Miami on the strength of its defense. The Tigers held the Hurricanes without a made 3 for the whole game. Later, Iowa junior guard Caitlin Clark put up the first 40-point triple-double in tournament history. Her massive performance lifted the 2-seed Hawkeyes over Louisville. The Women's Elite Eight rolls on this evening with the other 2 Final Four berths still up for grabs. 1-seed South Carolina currently leads 2-seed Maryland by 13 points in the fourth quarter as the Gamecocks seek to defend last year's title. Next, 3-seed Ohio State and 1-seed Virginia Tech will square off for the last spot in Dallas.
That's all we've got for ATVN Sports. I'm Adam Jasper.
And I'm Will Simons. We sleep in May. Now back to news.
What happens when you combine live theater and modern technology? Find out when we come back.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
The SoCal Vocals earned first place this weekend at the International Championship of Collegiate Acapella. Now they're heading to the finals in New York City. Reporter Mariela Gomez spent some time with the president of USC's sensational singing group.
Matteo Gonzalez started preparing his audition for the Thornton School of Music a long time ago. He was dancing, acting, and even singing vocals for Katy Perry on her hit single, E.T. Music has always helped him navigate his most trying times.
That expression through music was definitely something that just kept circling back in my mind.
Matteo struggled with his dual identity as a Mexican American. He felt as if he was split between two worlds.
Being half Mexican and half white has definitely brought a lot of insight and a lot of challenge from the aspect of just not necessarily fitting in with either crowd and or feeling like you're stuck in the middle.
But music has allowed him to just be, well, Matteo.
As someone who shares a lot of identities, whether it be my Latino side, my LGBTQ side, my survivor side, music helps me bridge that gap.
He's president of the SoCal Vocals, an a cappella group so well known that it's the #1 search option on Google for singing groups in Southern California.
Matteo is very inspirational. If things are getting crazy, he'll snap us back to it, but then he'll also make it fun.
When you watch him, you can just tell how much passion he has and how much drive he has.
Matteo is preparing for his college a cappella championship, but he of course still has 2 years left at USC Thornton as he's preparing to take on the world with his music.
2, 3, 4.
Matteo is no longer worried about fitting in. He is standing out. But what he is worried about is leading the SoCal Vocals to another first place performance. For Annenberg Media, I'm Mariela Gomez.
Congrats, Matteo and SoCal Vocals. Can't wait to see that next performance. The USC School of Dramatic Arts is presenting a new twist on theater with a multimedia musical production of the play Urinetown. That expands the number of people who can watch and interact with the show.
Here at SDA, it's probably one of the most ambitious technical productions we've done in many years.
The production can be viewed in person in the Big Theater, online, and through a 360-degree virtual experience. This new format, called Musicals in the Metaverse, is part of an effort to expand the accessibility of theater to a wider audience. The production is a satirical commentary on climate change, corporate America, and social irresponsibility. Urinetown, the musical, runs from March 30th to April 5th. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm John Walker.
And I'm Irene Kim. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.